Hello, peace and blessings, family. We are back with yet another vibe session. In today's vibe session, we'll be talking about something that is near and dear to my heart because it is something that I myself have been struggling with since I was a little kid, and that is stuttering. Yes, we will be talking about stuttering, and incongruent with that, we will be talking about the throat chakra because the throat chakra is all about communication. So, if you aren't familiar with the chakra system, that is something that we will be going through over the next course of weeks or over the next month. We will be talking about each chakra individually, and we'll be just breaking down what that chakra governs and where it's located, and how it's imbalanced and how it can be balanced, and how it affects your health in certain areas of your life as far as ailments, injuries, aches, diseases, and things of that nature. And in short, chakras are your energy wheels. They are located from your pelvic floor all the way to the crown of your head. And that is what chakra translates to: a wheel, an energy wheel, or an energy lock, if you rather. And when the chakra is blocked, your whole body, you may experience aches and illnesses. You also may experience shifts in your moods, maybe eating habits, maybe your patterns of your life. All of those things can be affected by your chakra being imbalanced. And we are going to dive into that bit by bit, right? So today we are talking about the throat chakra. And with the throat chakra, that is something that personally I have been dealing with and trying to open up. And with the throat chakra, your throat chakra is located right about in here. And the throat chakra connects to the heart. And with the throat chakra is all about your ability to communicate. It is your ability to speak your truth and to also kind of connect to your inner voice. It is about speaking your truth and also speaking from a place of love for yourself as well as your love for others. And oftentimes when your throat chakra is overactive, because with chakras it can be either overactive or underactive. So when your throat chakra is overactive, you tend to overtalk people a lot. You tend to be a fast talker, a smooth talker, maybe a narcissist. You just love to hear yourself talk, and also you tend to yell a lot. So that's pretty much something to be mindful about in terms of having a overactive chakra. It isn't a bad thing until you find yourself in arguments, or you may find people that tell you that, oh well, you like talk a lot, or why are you yelling, or why are you such a forceful talker. And it can be a good or bad thing. It's just something that we tend to have to look out for, so we can be able to have great communication skills, if you will. And when your chakra is underactive, you may tend to have thyroid disease or throat problems. You may have some type of imbalance when it comes to speech, whether it's having a hard time swallowing, stuttering like myself, thyroid disease, or just thyroid problems in general. Also, on a smaller scale of that, oftentimes maybe when we have a sore throat, that can be a sign that your throat chakra is blocked, or that it may have a blockage in a sense. And for me, when I found out about this, I was like, oh well, maybe that's why I stutter, because my throat chakra is blocked. Because those who know me know that I've been stuttering for years, and pretty much people just become used to it, which I'm thankful for. But when I was younger, I purposely did not speak. I would try to weasel my way out of doing presentations or just speaking in public. And I would do that by saying, oh, I have to go to the restroom, so hopefully my turn is skipped. I used to hate reading out loud in school for a very long time because I stuttered and I didn't want to hear the and the uhs and the, you know, all those things that kind of discourage people with a speech impediment from speaking. So over time, when it came to anything that had to do with the presentation or speaking publicly, I would divert from that and pretty much try to do anything but that. Even with group projects, I did not want to be the person to present in a group project. I would help you with the work, but that was it. So when I began to learn about chakras, the throat chakra was something that I was, of course, drawn to because I wanted to figure out a way to move past that blockage. And growing up in elementary school, I personally did not know about speech therapy. I don't know if my school had it. Maybe I was in it or that version of it. But for a while, I just remember, maybe going to school early or staying after to work on math because I hated math, but to also read. And I can remember a teacher I had telling my mom that it would help for me to just read out loud, to hear myself, say it out loud and to sound out words. So to me as a kid, that translated to me that I had an issue with reading, but that was never the case. It was just I had an issue with stuttering. And if you're not familiar with stuttering, stuttering is something where you may hear somebody like me drag out like one word for a very long time, or I will say a syllable for a very long time. And oftentimes people that stutters, they may have some type of tick that goes with the stutter because it's such a stressful process to just get out that one word or sound. So for me, I would notice that my left eye would kind of go down or my face would frown up because I'm so frustrated with trying to get the word out. Also, some people that stutter, it is said that they may have had a brain injury or, something of that nature. Also, there's different types of stuttering. The most common type of stuttering is developmental stuttering, where it starts off at the age of 5, and it's just you had an issue with developing your speech and language, and it just goes unresolved because you just had an issue with developing your words. Also, they have the neurogenic stuttering, where there's a issue with the brain signaling the nerves and the muscles to sound that word out or to just get your throat, all of this to sound out the word and get that word across. And also the psychogenic would just pretty much be reasoning and thinking. So with those two, it's just something that is just not triggering the brain to understand that word or that sentence. So it takes a while. For me, it's more so developmental, I think. However, oftentimes when we talk about stuttering, it's oftentimes just said that, oh, it's something that it runs in the family, because my dad stutters only when he's angry and my brother stutters sometimes, but it's like very sporadic, only when he's talking super fast because he's excited about something. So as a kid, for me, that just never made sense because I would rarely hear my father and my brother stutter. So I wasn't okay with that reasoning. So because I wasn't okay, I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to talk when I don't have to. Of course, I would talk around my friends, but they were used to it, so it wasn't a big deal. However, oftentimes we don't talk about a child's learning environment and also just their upbringing. If you haven't had a chance to, there was a girl by the name of Alana, and
I'm single, and I have a stutter, and I'm trying to find love and stuff, and I feel that guys and people don't really take me seriously. So I was wondering, because I know you talked about having a speech impediment when you were a kid, and you inspire me, and you came so far, obviously, and I look up to that so much, and I was wondering if you had any advice, because I don't want men to call it cute. I want to be taken seriously. Okay. So what is your advice for that, please?
So when we talked, we pretty much both agreed that nobody talks about a child's upbringing when they are, learning, speech and, language, like those key ages in a child's life when they're learning how to use their limbs and how to talk, and just when they are starting to be aware of their surroundings and learning. And something that we don't talk about is how we speak to a child, how we convey messages to a child, and just the people that are surrounding our children, because oftentimes we don't hear about the children that we're told to hush and don't talk and don't say nothing to nobody about this, or those people that just push their kids off and tell them that they don't know what they're talking about. Also, children that were raised in a hostile or semi-hostile environment where there's a lot of arguing, and you're just pretty much scared to talk because you don't want to be the cause of that argument. So a lot of people like me that stutter, we begin to suppress our feelings and what we want to say out of fear of saying the wrong thing, or the fear of being wrong, or getting in trouble. So we just don't speak. And oftentimes we don't talk about how stuttering is attributed to high anxiety, because people only talk about anxiety in one perspective, where somebody that's nervous or somebody that's jumpy, or those people that have a nervous breakdown. Well, anxiety looks different and sounds different according to each person. And when we talk about the throat chakra, when it's blocked, somebody's throat chakra is oftentimes blocked because as a child into early adulthood, they felt silence. They couldn't speak to anybody. And because of that, they develop that stuttering as a child, or they just don't talk. And it's often said that with thyroid disease incongruent to a blocked throat chakra is because you felt silence. You couldn't talk. And because of that, your throat now has an issue. It's blocked. And that's just something that we don't talk about. And when me and Alana spoke, we just felt like we had so much in common, because that was something that nobody talked about. And we just thought that was interesting that that oftentimes stuttering is pushed off as, oh, it runs in the family, or it's, oh, well, they have a brain issue, so something isn't clicking. And when you speak to some people that stutter, it's because of anxiety that has been carried from their childhood. And that is just something that, I just think that I feel that we definitely need to talk about more and allow resources to be there for people that do stutter like myself. And the reason that I was able to move past it, and I am still moving past it now in my adulthood, is one, I learned about chakras and how I can heal it. And of course, one of the ways to do that is to just freely talk Of course, with stuttering, there are more ways to move past it. Some people say to avoid certain syllables and sounds, but that's pretty much hard when, yeah, you have to speak. And some people will say sound it out. Well, when you're not reading, how are you going to sound out a word? Well, one of the things that you will see somebody that stutters do is they'll take a moment and pause and breathe. And that is something that is super important, because that does give us a chance to say mentally what we are going to say, and then we'll convey that message. Something that helped me was that sometimes when I'm on the phone or where I'm sitting, or just around somebody, I'll find a way to tap what I'm going to say, so I'm breaking it down. However, that's sometimes frustrating, because I oftentimes feel like I have to give a disclaimer. Hey, I stutter, so if I do something, it's because I'm trying to work past that. But that also helps with me, because I would try to hide the fact that I stuttered. So I didn't tell people, I didn't talk, I didn't do anything. So with that, that's one of the reasons that I created this space on YouTube, was to work on my speaking, to get comfortable speaking to others, whether it's through video or live or whatever the case may be. That was just to get out, just to move past that blockage of stuttering. But that is your throat chakra in a nutshell, and also that is how stuttering aligns directly with the throat chakra, because the throat chakra is often blocked from a very early age, from traumas, experiences, things that happened to us that just really silenced us. And as a kid, it's definitely not healthy to silence a child, because children are very pure anyway. So it's just best to allow them to speak and to explain things to them in as good as a way as possible, just so they learn that those great communication skills, so that we won't have thyroid issues and stuttering issues and anything else that attributes to the throat. And just to have the overall balance, we just have to learn how to speak our truth from a heartfelt way, and to just practice those good communication skills, and speak from a healthy place, and always find a way to speak with passion, but in a way that all communication lines are clear. That way you aren't over talking somebody, because if we over talk somebody, then we may be closing up their throat, and we don't know what anybody's dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So it's a give and take with throat chakras and healing and stuttering. So I hope that this was something that was touching, something that was an eye-opener, and yeah, peace and blessings, family.
First of all, let me say this to you. Stuttering is curable. It's nothing physically wrong with you. Mm-hmm. See, that's what I had to learn. I stuttered severely. I mean, what you're doing right now, nothing compared to what I was in a war with.